Before there were factories, before there were laboratories, before there was even Earth, the story of materials, and their science, had already begun. They arrived with the Big Bang. A violent birth of space, time, and matter. Stars ignited. Alchemy began. Stellar dust formed. Galaxies were born. And in one quiet corner of the universe, that dust gathered into a blue little planet, which eventually challenged the cosmic order. Why? Because at a rare moment on Earth, the transformation of materials stopped being just about possibility. Matter began to live. Not myth, not metaphor, a scientifically traceable transition. Physics and chemistry becoming biology. Matter organizing itself. Adapting. Evolving. Learning to manufacture materials that are, quite literally, absolute limited editions. Yes. Cosmos makes diamond every day, everywhere. But wood? That's an absolute impossibility anywhere other than Earth. We've explored all this, step by step, in our previous videos. Now, it's time to unpack the next miracle in this continuum. The moment when matter didn't just live. It became aware. Yes. Humans. Technically, just the next step in the continuum of life on Earth. But, when we look at the impact, especially, the speed of that impact, we feel there is a fundamental difference. For billions of years, change on this planet was gradual. Evolution reshaped life slowly. Ecosystems adjusted over millennia. Materials transformed under natural pressures. Then, humans arrived. And the timeline compressed. We are modifying, not just the materials, but life itself. Previous life forms adapted to their environment. Life worked in harmony. But humans adapt the environment to themselves. We get other life forms to work with us, and for us. Our needs and wants become priorities over their survival. Food chains shift. Ecosystems reorganize. Species adapt, or disappear. So, why are we so different from the life that came before us? Why does our defiance of the natural order feel unprecedented? The simple answer. Knowledge. We study the materials. And the rules that make them. Then bend them over backwards to serve our intent. But, is that right? Are we the only ones with such knowledge? Isn't that too presumptuous? Let's pause and reflect for a moment. When the first anaerobic organisms faced the great oxygenation event, life had to fight to survive. What did that mean? It meant that life had to figure out a way to shift from oxygen intolerance to oxygen dependence. And it did. Aerobic metabolism. At that, it just didn't survive, but thrived. Because it figured out a more efficient way to harvest energy. And with that extra energy, something changed. Life grew larger. More complex. Eukaryotic cells. Multicellularity. Minerals were recruited to build strong frameworks on soft organic matrices. Even there, it knew to choose calcium phosphate for bone and calcium carbonate for shells. Let's move beyond cellular level. Wherever energy was abundant and selection pressures shifted, extravagance appeared. Like the elaborate plumage of birds of paradise. But, when survival was about precision and speed, it refined claws, echolocation, venom, and night vision. Weaver birds' nests. Beavers' dams. Termites' climate-controlled mounds, with passive ventilation systems. Isn't this knowledge? Isn't this a systematic study of its needs, as well as the materials that will fulfill that need? Make or modify as required. Because nature seldom has the materials in the requisite form. Yes. Life before us also had to experiment, iterate, engineer, and most importantly, innovate. So, what sets us apart? How do humans differ that we became, not a continuity, but a crossroad of sorts? That's what we will embark on, in our next video. Stay tuned.